Do you recall your first day in high school? What is the name of your very first friend, and do you recall the content of your Form 1 box? If this ink is full to write my empty story, a story that I Sophia, an empty story permanently inscribed in my heart. 20 years down the line, I remember all the content in my box. That empty box. That's why I write this nostalgic note to Sophia the first. Dear Sophia, I bring you recollections of yesteryear, Sophia. When I stood so feeble without fear, my dear, when the world defined me as empty, when the world saw a grotesque of mere imagination like a statue, when the world saw a social misfit in outfit befitting not the school status and fit to be admitted to such an honorable school. A boy so empty with an empty box, he saw it fit to fill my box. Dear Sophia, I became a benchmark of desperation, dejection, rejection. They made fun of my tongue, that it was so loose to hold vowels in place, that my tongue was so clumsy to pronounce simple words like onomatopoeia, that my tongue was so mannerlessly queer. Ladies and gentlemen, how could my tongue become hard when life itself was hard on me? How could my tongue become light when myself I carry loads of desperation? How could my tongue know manners when my surrounding was toxic, mannerless? How could my tongue... Perhaps you will tell me what you saw in me, Sophia, when there was nothing to see. Perhaps you were sent by God to be my Messiah. Perhaps your heart and mind had unseen conversation. Perhaps your past resonated in my empty story. Perhaps your goodness will bring wellness. Dear Sophia, well, my classmates saw me as a misplaced bush boy. A bush boy with no future in borrowed shoe, a bush boy in borrowed uniform, a bush boy in borrowed empty box, a bush boy in borrowed time. You placed yourself in my shoes, Sophia, you bought me uniform, Sophia, you filled my empty box, Sophia, you gave me time. Dear Sophia, as parents arrived in school in different styles, others by roads, others by air. At least I was still taking in free air as parents arrived in school in worried of a seasoned separation with their children. I felt relieved of my frustration. I felt my life to reunite with fetus ears. Parents arrived in school with heavy boxes. I arrived with an heavy heart, with an empty box. As parents bid bye to their children, I simply stare in awe. Dear Sophia, this is my true story, not to seek sympathy nor empathy. A true story, not to kill the heart of that empty Form 1. A true story, though it tears my heart. A true story that cut deep down my heart. A true story of undying patience in essence. A true story on faithfulness. A true story of innocence. A story that battened difference. Dear Sophia, this is one of my series of letters, a letter of my sincerity expressing deep gratitude, a letter of my transformation, a letter to thank you for elevating my status, a letter that I write on board, a letter that I write above the skies, a letter that I write en route to Harvard University. A letter that I write high up watching the sky scatter my yesterday problems. A letter of letters. Dear Sophia, my memories take me back to Form 4, when my star rose in mathematics, bringing out total linear transformation. When my star shone in geography like the end of lunar eclipse. When my star rose in mathematics to the peak, thus creating a half normal curved. When my star in chemistry bubbled up like the oxygen test. When my star in manners and linguistics blessed me to Harvard University.